Welcome to B1 Studios, and for today's LEGO Star Wars set review, I have the 75428 Battle Droid with Stap, a set that I'm personally pretty excited to build and display. I just really like the concept of this specific set for like a buildable character Battle Droid. The set released on July 1st, 2025 for $140, which definitely upon first impressions at least feels like quite a bit for what we are actually going to be getting. The set comes with 1,088 pieces and one minifig being the Battle Droid, but it does come with a little Stap build as well to go along beside the display plaque. When it comes to the box art for the set, I think it looks so fantastic. You have the Battle Droid on the Stap flying over Naboo, assuming you know during the Battle of Naboo in episode 1. It looks so great, the contrast between the blue sky and the green grass of Naboo. I just really love how it looks personally. One of my favorite box arts of 2025, I must say. Turning to the right side of the box, we see just the Battle Droid on its own with feed in the background, and then more of the feed scenery on the back of the box with the Battle Droid on the Stap and some different angles of the build, the display stand, and then that Battle Droid build on its own. Again, for just a box that I think looks pretty great, especially, you know, the episode 1 theming I personally am a pretty big fan of, and this is a set that I'm really looking forward to building and seeing how it's going to look displayed alongside some of my other episode 1 sets. So let's get the Battle Droid all unsealed. Unsealing the set, we have our instructions manual along with a decently small sticker sheet, but a few more stickers than I was at least expecting for this set, and then 10 total numbered bags. Time to go build the Battle Droid with the Stap, and I will check back in with you guys once it's all done. Well, I've got the Battle Droid with Stap all completed, and this is one of those sets where once it was completed, I had to just sit back for a little bit and just admire the build and just try and gather my thoughts and opinion as to what I actually thought of the set, because I feel like it's one of those ones where when you first see it, it might be one that you're like, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about how it looks. Primarily the actual B1 Battle Droid build, but overall, having it completed now, I just think for a set concept, it is so cool, and I'm just honestly surprised LEGO actually made this sort of set for a buildable B1 Battle Droid, just including the Stap especially, I think is a wild choice, but honestly, I'm here for it. I think it's pretty cool. At the very bottom of the entire kind of stand for the Stap for the Battle Droid, we have the display plaque and a stand for our minifig scale-sized Stap build, which looks really great. The brown color scheme just matching our actual Stap build looks fantastic. And then the little B1 Battle Droid as well, which can ride on top of the Stap on the display stand or be placed on its own. And what I do really appreciate is that LEGO had the foresight to include 2 separate clips on the back of the display plaque for the different angled arm and a blaster for the B1 Battle Droid so that those pieces aren't lost and you can change up how you want to actually have everything displayed. The actual display plaque itself looks really great. The printing on there is fantastic. I love the actual kind of angle and detail that they did for the Battle Droid with the Stap in blue on this display plaque. I think that looks really cool. And what's awesome too is that the display stand itself can be detached from the rest of the build if you wanted to display things kind of separately in different parts. There's just a small clip on the back of the entire display stand section that attaches to the front of the base for the Stap. So you just have those options if you want to have the B1 Battle Droid, the Stap on the stand, and then the display plaque all separately in 3 different pieces, or however you want to do it. You have that flexibility, which I think is a really great option. And when it comes to the builds for the set, let's take a look at our quirky B1 Battle Droid first, because this thing is definitely a little odd looking, I must admit. When I was thinking of what I had imagined a buildable character sort of version of the B1 Battle Droid to look like, it definitely wasn't this, but I can see the intention behind the design of this Battle Droid. It's mostly built out of brick, and it never was going to look super accurate. I don't think there's really any way LEGO, especially at the exact scale this Battle Droid is in, could make it look super accurate. So to me, it's something that has grown on me, but I definitely understand if this Battle Droid is a bit polarizing in terms of people either really loving its design or really not being a fan of it, because it's very interesting looking. But what I will say is really awesome about this build is just how poseable the Battle Droid is. You have a lot of different points of where the legs and arms do move around, so you can pose the Battle Droid in a lot of different ways, and it really had to be able to do this in order to actually ride and pilot the Stap build. You needed to get the arms and legs in a very particular position for it to be placed on that build, so it needed a decent degree of movement to be able to actually pilot the Stap and then stand up as well. So the fact that you can display it and everything, I do think is a really great thing and adds a bit of play to this build as well. And with just how poseable the Battle Droid build is, I do believe that is why the legs, especially of the build, are a lot thicker than you may have wanted for the Battle Droid to look totally accurate. I think that's just a necessary evil in order for the build to actually be able to support itself. So I'm not too upset about that fact, but what I do really not like is, especially on the upper legs of the Battle Droid, the stickers that you see there. The detail looks good, but the color matching, it is just really awful and stands out far too much for especially a $140 display set. To have stickers that look that bad, in my opinion, is just really not a good thing. When it comes to the arms of the Battle Droid, we have the 3 fingers on the hand, which is totally poseable as well to either grab the blaster that comes with the build or the Stap handles. And that blaster, to me, it's pretty great looking, the actual design of it, but it's very fragile, I have found. It can kind of twist and turn, and some pieces do fall off decently easy, so that's just one thing to keep in mind with this build, is that the blaster does look really good on display, but actually in placing it in the Battle Droid's hands or even putting it back on the holster on the side, it definitely can fall apart on you and is not super strongly built. The lower area of the torso of the Battle Droid I do think looks really fantastic. It's a lot more open and accurate looking to the Battle Droid, so the design choices here I really do appreciate. On the top of the left side of the chest of the Battle Droid, we have another sticker just giving a little bit more detail, but the color matching just very brutal. Again, same with the sticker that's on the back of the Comlinks booster pack, but the Comlink booster pack itself I think looks really great. The shaping was done exceptionally well, and the 2 antennae also on the back just look really great. So the details are there, just unfortunate that the color matching with all of these stickers, LEGO just does such a bad job with. And then we have what is easily the most controversial design element of the Battle Droid, the head. And I'll admit, it definitely looks weird. It looks like some different variation of a Battle Droid to me. It just doesn't totally look like it should, but I'm not sure exactly how the designers could have made it look even better. So I am sympathetic to that issue. And this is, probably the best that they could have come up with, especially just at the scale that the build is in. I do appreciate the detail from the printed piece for the Battle Droid's head on the front with the primary sensors and everything. That does look good, and it's the one detail on the Battle Droid that doesn't look totally awful because it's printed and there's no color matching issue. But the rest of the head, I don't know. It's the one area where I feel like the design really just fails, and if it had looked better, I think a lot of people could look past the kind of chunkiness of the rest of the Battle Droid, but the fact that the head does look so odd, it definitely doesn't help anything here, but at least the head is poseable. You can move it around a lot. It just looks weird. And I did want to quickly show how the Battle Droid build just on its own looks next to the Droideka, because these are the only 2 modern buildable character separatist droids that LEGO has made so far, and there clearly is a bit of a scaling issue between these 2 builds. I'm not upset at the size of the B1 Battle Droid, but if anything, this just really makes me wish that the Droideka was a bit larger and just looked a bit more intimidating almost in size next to the B1 Battle Droid. I just wish LEGO had the foresight to make this build just a bit larger so that it just looked better and more accurate and scaled, at least with the separatist droids. I don't expect the B1 Battle Droid or even the Droideka to be scaled next to like Chopper or R2-D2, for example, but just even if they were scaled to each other, I think that would look a lot better for display than they currently do, because the Droideka, it just looks so small. So that's just one kind of unfortunate thing about how these 2 sets will look displayed next to each other, at least in my opinion. Okay, now before I show you guys how the Battle Droid attaches to the Stap, I just want to take a moment to actually appreciate how fantastic this Stap build looks. It is basically flawless in my eyes. The color scheme, the shaping of everything looks so great. Like the actual top portion of the Stap, that shaping design could not have been that easy to have actually made, but it looks so fantastic. The forward laser cannons look really great as well. The actual kind of mechanical portion of the top top going down to the main body of the Stap looks so good. All of the little piping details that LEGO was able to add into it. And then the shaping of the main body of the Stap also looks so great. The angles and everything were done just exceptionally well. The engines, just everything about the Stap, I am such a huge fan of. I'm just genuinely impressed at how great I think this part of the build really does look. The Stap's design is basically flawless. Alright, so when it comes to placing the Battle Droid on the Stap build, what LEGO tells you to do in the instructions is to pull out the handles from the build and use the clips to attach it to the hands of the Battle Droid, and then place the Battle Droid attached to the handles back on the build. Then what you can do is take the studs that are on the backside of the feet of the Battle Droid and attach them to the footrests that are on each side of the build. Once that is all done, you'll probably need to fiddle with the arm joints and leg joints of the Battle Droid just to make him look like he's not holding on for dear life, just leaning so far back. But then once you get it in kind of a nice looking position, just like I've done here, I think when it's attached to that Stap, it all comes together, and this set just makes so much sense to me. And in all honesty, with how good that Stap build looks, it makes me just really overlook the flaws and the quirkiness of the Battle Droid build. Together like this, it is just such an incredible looking display piece in my opinion. And there is one more thing that you can do with this build, and it's actually detach the entire Stap with the Battle Droid on it from the display stand and swoosh it around. There are just 3 points of connection that go into the back of the main body of the Stap, and you can just lift the entire thing off the display stand and then swoosh it around, pretending the Battle Droid's flying the Stap during the Battle of Naboo. It's a great play feature, and the entire thing does feel pretty stable. It doesn't feel like anything is going to fall apart on you. The builds are not that fragile, which is really nice to be able to say. But for me personally, this is just going to sit on the display stand and look pretty great on there too. So then that leaves us with the price for the set, $140. And to me, that value just is not quite there. And I feel like I'm saying that on most reviews now of all new sets that LEGO is making. That increase in price that they're wanting us to pay for these sets is not just coming with an increase in value, an increase of quality. It's just not there. $120 I think at most, but if you can find it for like $110, $115 on sale, which I feel like this is going to be one of those sets that we will see eventually go on a pretty decent sale. I think that's when, if you're a prequel fan, a Phantom Menace fan, Clone Wars era fan, you know, pick the setup, because I personally genuinely do really like the set. The biggest issue with it is just the price, and I feel like that is the common denominator with a lot of modern LEGO Star Wars sets, especially in 2025. The prices are just getting extremely out of touch, and I don't know, to be honest, what LEGO is doing. So with that all said, for the B1 Studios set rating, this set is getting a 9.4 out of 10. Fix the price, fix the stickers, and it's a lot closer to being that 10 out of 10. Genuinely, I really do love the set, and I think it's going to be one I'm going to display for a very long time. Some I keep displayed for just a short period before they get transitioned out, but this one I think is going to stick around for quite a while. I just know the depth of it with the Battle Droid on the Stap, it's just not going to fit dead on in the display shelves behind me, but the fact that I can take the display plaque off, have that still dead on, and then angle the build, just details like that I really do love about how well thought out this set overall was, except really for that price point. Thank you for watching my review on the 75428 Battle Droid with Stap. As always, you guys, let me know what you think of this set in the comments down below. I always enjoy reading all of the comments you guys make. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It just helps me out, helps my channel grow, and so does making sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel if you do enjoy the LEGO Star Wars set reviews that I make and just want to show your support for my channel. It's always very, very appreciated. Thank you guys again so much for watching. My name is Justin, and I'll see you on the next LEGO Star Wars set review on B1 Studios.